Islanders Capitals Game 5. Islanders up 3-1. The Capitals special teams are playing at a very high level, and Backstrom being out hurts them, but special teams start taking over in these games, and the Islanders are a better team. Man to man, they're a better hockey team. But there are intangibles and special teams going with the Capitals. The great eight, Alexander Ovechkin, is putting his team on his back. The Capitals' penalty killing since the restart is at 96.3%. Their power play is at 19.2%. The Isles' penalty killing is at 73.3%. And there's nothing more dangerous than a man or a team with hope. And that's what the Capitals have right now. I watched that first period of the game, and I was like, man, the Islanders are so much better than the Capitals. And Kuznetsov and Ovechkin take over. Only 4 of 195 NHL teams in an 0-3 hole have come back to win. And the Islanders got 6 shots in the third period on Tuesday when special teams completely took over. Let's see what we are dealing with right now from an odds perspective. It's a pick'em. It's an absolute pick'em. And the total here opened at 5, juiced to the over at minus 120. It's now over, juiced a little more at minus 125. Take it away, Babano. Islanders, Capitals.
I was on the Islanders in Game 1. I was on the Islanders in Game 2. I was on the Islanders in Game 3. And I was on the Islanders in Game 4, the first loss of the series for the Islanders. So guess where I'm headed today? Right back to that Islander train. Yes, indeed. I think they can end it today. You're always a little concerned in the pit of your stomach that you give the team like the Washington Capitals with Stanley Cup championship experience and pedigree with Ovechkin and Oshie and Kuznetsov and Carlson and Holtby, the goaltender, and all these guys that have been together for so long. You give them a little life, a little spark, and they can just take it and gain momentum and start. And that was Washington's best game for sure, the series Game 4. But they were dead to rights when it was 2-0 Islanders. And the Islanders did the one thing they couldn't afford to do in any game this series. The only time they've been in trouble in this series, Jimmy, is when they've made a parade to the penalty box. As soon as they get into penalty trouble, that's what gives Washington life, because they do still have a lethal power play, and they've shown it here in this series. At 5-on-5 even strength, when there are no penalties at the time, the Islanders have dominated this series. They've been far better than the Capitals. And I love how people say, well, it's been their defense. It's been Barry Trotz. And that's true. Barry Trotz has done a great job. The defense is outstanding. I like that blue line top to bottom. It's a deeper blue line than Washington. Washington's got issues with their blue line depth. I'm sorry. Nick Jensen and Hechavari and Siegenthaler and some of these depth defensemen for the Caps, they're not big-time defensemen in the NHL. They're not. The Islanders have a huge advantage there, in my opinion. Semyon Varlamov, for the most part in this series, has been the better goalie as well over Braden Holtby. But it's funny hearing people say, oh, the Islanders, that defense of theirs, winning them games again in the playoffs. It's time to start talking about their offense a little bit. They can score, and they've shown it here in this series. They're a better offensive team now with Anthony Beauvillier, and Anders Lee's had a great series, and Matthew Barzal is really starting to get it going for the Islanders. Jordan Eberle has resuscitated his dead career, his fledgling career here with the Islanders. He's even been really good lately. And Jean-Gabriel Pageau from Ottawa at the trade deadline. What a move that's proven to be for the New York Islanders. Outstanding job acquiring him at the deadline. So I think, and Barry Trotz off a loss in the playoffs, he's only hitting at like 59% in the last 10, 12 years going back to Nashville. Like, he has been an outstanding coach, and his team's off a loss in the playoffs going back to Nashville. That was 2 teams ago for Barry Trotz from a coaching standpoint. Nashville, Washington, and now here. His track record off a loss is sensational. Oh, and then you have numbnuts Tom Wilson after the game saying, you know what, I'm not surprised we stayed alive. We didn't really respect this. He's doing the old, we didn't really respect this team very much going into the series. You just gave them some bulletin board material with that inane, ridiculous comment. And then I'm sure it got back to the Islanders here in that. I think it ends tonight. And if it doesn't end tonight, I'd start to get a little concerned about the Islanders. Might get a little tight around the collar, but I don't think the series goes past tonight. I like the Islanders, and I'm never in a million years, Jimmy, going to pass up betting an over in an elimination game when it's 5. No way, no how. You can get tons of time with the net empty, a goal-scoring explosion late because of the net being empty. 5, elimination game, that's an auto over for me. So over and Islanders for me.
Over and Islanders. Claudio S. saying Ovechkin anytime goal. You know, what I would, and that's just at plus 125, man. But what I would probably do is I would split that unit in half, and I might do this. What do you think of Ovechkin over half a power play point at plus 150 and anytime goal at plus 125? Because Ovechkin, he gets his assists on the power play from taking shots and then the rebounds coming up. And, you know, Kuznetsov, Al taking care of business from then. And if you get the Ovechkin power play goal, you cash both bets. What do you think of Ovechkin props in this game? I know it doesn't correlate with you back in the Islanders here.
Oh, I'll definitely bet props, goal-scoring props and points props on the opposing team, even if I've got a bet on the other team. I do it all the time. And absolutely. You know, if Washington's going to win this game, Alex Ovechkin's and stay alive for a second straight game, Alex Ovechkin's going to have a hand in it, just like he did in Game 4. Like, they had nothing going, all right? He starts a scrum. He gets in the face of one of the Islander players, and when it was 2-0 at the time for the Islanders, and sure enough, they get a power play out of it, and Ovechkin scores, and he scored, of course, the game winner as well. He willed them to win, and credit to him. That's what you expect out of a guy like Alex Ovechkin. I think he's finally getting the respect he deserves for his compete level, and he cares. He wants to win. I think that was something that maybe he didn't have very early in his career, but you can't say that now. For the last several years, this is a guy that's done everything in his power to help his team win. That's not just scoring. It's about throwing a timely hit. It's about getting in someone's face at the right time when your bench needs a little bit of an energy jolt. Ovechkin gives his team that these days. And I would expect him to do everything in his power to be great again tonight in a backs against the wall situation, just like he was in Game 4. So I have no argument. If you like Ovechkin points and maybe to score tonight, I would not in a minute talk you out of betting that.
Yeah, and the power play point over a half power play points at plus 150. You get the power play goal, you cash both. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to be thinking about that now. I've got no move right now on Islanders Capitals, but that's a very interesting way of looking at it.